another one here, and you know what? Should we go to the Lloyd Banks now? I mean,
Yeah,
we're like
yeah,
an
we can
hour
move
and a
over to
half
Lloyd.
in. We might as well.
Yeah,
Lloyd.
let's move over to Lloyd.
All right,
Yep.
let's go over to Lloyd Banks. Lloyd Banks has dropped. What is this? His second album in 2 years? The,
Back to back.
yeah,
Hmm.
The Course of Inevitability 2. He dropped a 14-track album. The features on there were Conway the Machine, Benny the Butcher, Jadakiss, Tony Yayo,
Hmm.
Vado, and Dave East. Now, you say you had a whole lot of notes on this album. And I remember you texted me earlier and was like, yo, man, this Lloyd Banks is nice. What do you
You
think?
know, it's I want to unpack a lot of things.
Unknown Name says it just felt good to hear Slick Rick's voice on a new song. I feel you.
Right.
Go
I feel
ahead.
you. You know, he's crafted himself into a very, very nice solo artist. Mike, he is actually somebody that has the capability to spit high quality lyrics and punchlines, but he's rounded himself into a very, very good song maker. I think some of the songs have a mixtape feel to them, but in a good and a positive way, because I think that's his lane and his style and where he's comfortable. And on the first project, I feel like it was too long and he had a couple missteps and was figuring some things out. This is way more concise. It's way better, in my opinion. I don't know if it's a straight up album of the year contender because we can kind of run it down and see if it falls in the top five. Because for an album to be an album of the year contender, it has to be one of the five best albums of the year, in my opinion. That's
Mm-hmm.
real contending. I look at it like an MVP race. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, no, no. There's only five real contenders for MVP. Some honorable mention niggas. Motherfuckers gonna make second and third team, but there's only five that's up. And
Is
so
it
I
too
don't,
early to ask you, like, do you think it's better than the Ransom album?
it's not.
Okay.
I was thinking closer to putting it in the realm of actually two of the artists who are featured on here and comparing it to where it ranks in compared to God Don't Make Mistakes and Tana Talk 4. I think is more fair talk for it. But there is the possibility, in my opinion, that it might be better than both of those. And that's what I mean. It could be borderline album of the year contention. So I don't think it's better than the Ransom or the Che Noir Food for Thought or the Earth Gang Ghetto Gods. But after that, if I pull up my, let me pull up
We
my
got
album
Black
list.
Star in there too. Mad Max with the super chat
I
says,
don't know.
"LOL, maybe it's just me. I don't know. The old heads love Slick Rick. LOL. I like MC Shan more than him. I like LL better than him. So is Kane, Rakim, Cool G Rap, KRS.
Yeah, it's
The
all
Comb 44 says Slick Rick and Outkast joint. Beautiful record.
so right. So here's what I would tell you. It's like so we got. I think the Che Noir is better.
Okay.
I think the Ransom is better. I think the Earth Gang Ghetto Gods is better. I know for certain that those three albums are better in my mind.
Are we not talking about the Black Star because it's on limited platforms, or?
I'm so tired of talking about an album that everybody can't hear, and we keep on giving it pub and giving it run, and then I keep telling myself, why am I pubbing and giving them run when one, like, they don't pull up on us, they're not supporting us, like, you know, that conversation that we had with the gentleman behind the scenes is kind of helping us about, like, even down to what we should be wearing and doing, like, that really kind of like stuck with me in the sense of like, well, I'm not going to support people that's really not supporting according to hip hop the way that they should. I'm a little done giving them their run because they're not even giving themselves fair run. Why should I give you more run when you don't seem to care?
I understand that, and I consider that. I mean,
I'm
but
gonna
the
be
album is
objective
the
about the
album,
rating.
though. Yeah.
How can we rate an album when according to hip hop is for the people and by the people and the people don't have access?
Well, I think that the problematic part of it when it comes to that Black Star album is, yeah, you can't really gauge what the people feel about the project because, like you said, a lot of people haven't really heard it, and even when, well, I won't say a lot of people haven't heard it, but people don't
No,
have
that's true.
access to it to even go hear it in a way that they have access to everything else. So when
I'm
you
not
see
being
people talk about these lists and the album list, it often gets left out because of that reason. So it
right.
makes it really hard on us to really see if this is just our opinion or if we're just forging our opinions on these things or this how people really feel about it.
Well, also too, this is what I mean. Well, it's not like the word on the street is not like people have been running to grab and pick this album up. And so I'm a guy that it's like, well, at the end of the day, I'm going to ride with what the streets say. And the streets been telling me, it's like, well, niggas really ain't been checking for them like that, Coop. Ain't nobody picking up this project like that, Coop. And if this project was fire like that, that's what the streets do all the time, no matter where you put it, Mike. When it's hot, people go get it. And it's like, nobody's going to get it because here's the thing. And this is what I was trying to say respectfully. For as great as you all are, y'all don't have it like that. Like, this is something that would be a shaky move if Nas and Jay were to put out a collab album together and make this move. It would be shaky for them to do something like this. They kind of overstated themselves. And so it's like, I enjoy the album. I think it's great, but I can't continue to support it. They're not really supporting themselves properly.
Well, you know what? Even when Jay put out 444 in 2016, he had it on Tidal exclusively for, I think, maybe the first week or something. And then everybody got access to it. And so I think we were just waiting for that moment where No Fear of Time was going to be available on other platforms. I think enough time has lapsed where everybody should be able to share in it. Or, like my man who super chatted earlier said, that he has his vinyl of Magic. Like, I think that an album like No Fear of Time, in my personal opinion, if they released this to streaming platforms and then they went out there and put out physical vinyls for it, people would go out there and support that to have that record. You know what I mean? And the other part of that is we don't know if the sound quality issues were in the studio or on Luminary. And so that's the other question mark where it's like, okay, does anybody have a physical version of this so we can possibly get a better quality version of the album?
I mean, if they're intelligent businessmen, truly, they are literally re-recording it and engineering it and mastering it properly and to release it on major streaming platforms. Because I do think if it does get released that way, that it's on a bad day, it's an album of the year contender. On a bad day. But I'm not. So we have the Black Star album, technically, if we're counting it, Ransom, Che Noir, and the Ghetto Gods. Those are the only albums that I can succinctly say are better than this album. But like I said, this album is like a lot of the other albums. It's a 4. It's a year filled with 4s.
DeCarlo with the super chat says, Lloyd's project is the only one this year that has legit songs with good hooks on it. And plus he gives us bars and punchlines, unlike the rest this year.
So that's what I'm saying. So I feel like the Conway and the Benny is a 4. But if I were to put this ahead of that, I can't dismiss the fact that, and I'm saying this respectfully, I love how he put together this album. The sequencing on this album is dope because he sets it up like he wants his respect as a solo artist, MC. So before you hear any guest features, you hear 2 straight records of him. Impact is a great lead-off album song for him. He said, and I quote, "Killing this ice like Yamaguchi." I'm like, oh, those are the punchlines that he got notarized for.
Yeah.
You know, for those who don't know, Christina Yamaguchi is our 1992 Olympic gold medalist in figure skating.
DeCarlo with the super chat says, Banks made songs while everyone else made tracks, if that makes sense. Well, you know what? I do want to get to that, too, because I feel like Banks doesn't get enough credit for his song-making ability. I know that we were doing, like, the MC rating. And did we do 50 or we talked about doing 50? Either way, I think that Banks has a level of what 50 song-making ability is. I do believe that a lot of that G-Unit stuff, not saying anybody wrote anything for anybody else, but I think as far from a song-making perspective, a lot of that was collaborative. You know what I mean? And I think that because those songs weren't Banks songs specifically, we don't give Lloyd Banks enough credit for his songwriting ability anyway. He's always known how to make songs from hooks to, you know what I'm saying, to verses and just make the whole complete package. Because I'm so fly as that. You know what I mean?
So can I tell you something?
Yeah.
And you know how I feel, so I never thought I would say this. He does suffer from not having somebody charismatic and vocally distinctive like 50 around him vocally
Yeah.
he can be hard to go through for a whole album, very comparable to a Boldy, like people say at times.
No, you're 100% correct.
And so it's tough getting beginning to end, and that's why I tell you part of why I like Boldy is because of how Boldy switches it up. Boldy also has Alchemist doing his beats.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like so that
That's
little
a big plus.
Yeah, super big plus, but the plus of all pluses, ask Freddie Gibbs with Alfredo what type of plus.
I think in a minute, man, we're gonna have to put Alchemist in the top 5, but that's another discussion for another day.
That conversation's coming soon. I'm starting to feel that way too. Because I keep
Because we
playing
can't
Alfredo.
keep bigging him up like this and say, "Oh no, he's not top 5."
Well, I can't keep playing Alfredo more than any other rap album the last 5 years and doing that too, right?
Yeah.
So he sets himself up nicely for who he is, and here's what he is: he's a very well-versed MC. He's a great songwriter, and he's a great punchline bar for bar rapper. And you kind of see it in who shows up because it's like, well, if this dude's not nice, Conway's not on here, Benny's not on here, Jadakiss isn't on here. That's the type of lineup that somebody like a Royce or a Black Thought has on their albums. Like in terms of like lyrical MC. You get what I'm saying?
Who do you think had the best performance on here? Since you're naming some of the features.
I think Benny fit in with the concept of what was going on song-wise the best. So the living proof with Benny, I thought Benny's performance was the best just because he fit into the theme of what Banks' songwriting was the best. But it's all dope. I felt like the power steering, when I heard that beat, I'm like, oh, that's perfect for Kiss to go in. And sure enough, he ends it with some classic Kiss shit. I'm a big stepper. You a young dancer. Smoke with me only gonna lead the lung cancer. I'm like, yeah, that's Kiss.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like Kiss showed up. They gave Kiss a
Kiss
beat.
always
Kiss
shows up.
And Kiss did what Jadakiss usually does, which is, body the track.
I like Conway on there.
No, Conway on there is dope.
007 with the super chat says, mixtape Wayne, mixtape Fab, mixtape Banks. He's more in his pocket, but his projects in the past 2 years are cool. Looking back, his time at G Unit was man. Jay Short with the super chat says, Black Star showed the danger in becoming legends in your own mind. To know your worth, you must know your audience and your business first.
They're MCs. Yeah. First thing you have to know when you speak in front of a crowd is your audience. That's what I'm saying. It's just like, oh, y'all, because here's what they don't realize. Everybody who really is a head and a fan of theirs and wanted to hear their album has already went and listened to it, and the feedback hasn't been good, and thereby the secondhand smoke, the next wave of people have not come. But here's the thing about it.
I want to piggyback. Go ahead. I'll hold my thought.
Had you just made it available, your ass would still be paid, though.
I think the biggest problem with this, though, Coop, is the fact that they made it exclusive on a platform that is not known for music. So it's like, it's not one of those gifts that keep on giving type of thing. More than likely, we're going to listen. We're going to use that 1 month for the people who did that. And they're going to cancel because it's not like a Tidal thing, right? Where it's like Tidal was coming around during a time where if you wanted a third option, you also had access to everything else in the music, any other music genre. It had everything that Spotify and Apple Music had, where Luminary doesn't. Luminary is pretty much for podcasts, right? So if this was done on a platform that was similar to a Tidal or something, it would make a little bit more sense because it's like, when my trial runs out or whatever, then I might keep it going because I like this platform for the other music that I'm listening to. But with this one, it was like, okay, I came here for the Black Star album. Do I really want to keep paying $4.99 for stuff that I might not might not listen to, which are podcasts, which aren't more music. So it's not like they continuously put out music on that platform. Then that would have made more sense. You know what I mean?
So, can I say something respectfully?
Yeah.
Well, they're just really not the businessmen that they fashion themselves out to be, and they're not the MCs that they fashion themselves out to be in terms of the legend in their own minds. It's like you can't not be both. It's like they have themselves inflated in terms of who they are, all-time MCs. Like sometimes when you're too accessible to the public, like Talib is, and sometimes like most can be, and has been at times, too many people run up on you in person, telling you how great you are, and you start to believe and feed into your own hype. And I keep trying to tell you, it's like, well, Most should be a top 10 MC of all time, but he's not. Talib's not even close to that, and neither one of these guys are top 25, and that's even on their best day. And so they have themselves overrated, and their business acumen is not as strong as they think it is. And that's not to say that their business acumen is not strong.
Well, I will say this. I just don't, and we talked about this before the album came out. I just didn't think it was a good idea to release it in that way. If you want to release this, because it was a quality album too. Possible album of the year, and in my personal opinion, the best album that I have heard in 2022. But I think that if you want to release it in a way where you want support, you got to go the physical route. And if you wanted to put it on that streaming platform for like the first month or whatever, at least make other things available. But to leave the fans hanging in a way where it's like, I got you on this platform that doesn't have any other music but mine. You know what I'm saying? I think it puts you in a dead end situation. You know what I'm saying? What's the end goal here? Do you really want to sit here and pay $5 a month? So you ended up paying $60 a year for a Black Star album? You should have just sold people the damn physical album.
I'm about to say, because here's the thing about it. How about this? You probably, and this is what I mean about being a smart businessman. If you really wanted to make it boutique like that, you could have opened up your own like digital webpage for a month.
Exactly.
Where listen to what I'm saying, where you have like a little gift kit available where you get like a physical vinyl copy that's signed by Most, Talib, and Madlib with an actual CD.
Easy.
They can get old school, like for real. Like if you care about it, make a tape, a CD, and a vinyl and wrap it up and bow it, like literally and personally sign it, and charge niggas $60 for that, and then give them access to the digital streaming of it for a year and the physical copy.
Yeah,
that's gonna go same $60.
It's and it's no problem. It's no problem in going old school when you haven't released an album in 24 years.
But listen, what I'm saying is that. Well, their business acumen isn't that strong, because I just thought about that off the top of my head, and that's stronger than any play that they just made. They're just not their business. They're not who they think they are as businessmen.
LP,
and I'm not saying that because I don't care for Talib. I'm saying that because it's like they fucked up.
And it's a great album too. LP with the super chat says, Fife album was better, more complete. KRS-2.
Yes, I agree. I agree because it's like, well, guess what? People got access to those albums to be able to say that, Mike. It's like we can't even have this conversation with about 2/3 of the people that's in here. Because about 2/3 of the people that are in here right now haven't heard this.
No, and it's hard to even have these discussions because
our
show is predicated on people's feedback, and we can't get feedback for an album that people don't have access to. Topping that with the super chat, shout out to the people out there in Australia and any other country out there as well. UK be supporting hard too. He said, glad Banks is still getting love. Has a dope catalog, including mixtapes. His hook game is nice and has better song and a better songwriter now, not just punchline rapper anymore. Should listen to him on the Button podcast. All love.
He's actually less of a punchline rapper now. Is actually what I was about to say. One of the highlights for this album to me isn't just how like he trimmed it down and made it more concise and kind of like covered up some of his holes as an artist. Mm-hmm. But he really is like well-rounded as a songwriter as he's ever been. These hooks are strong. His verses are strong. I mean, lyrically, Mike, how many guys do you know that can invite Conway and Benny and Jada Kiss comfortably on their project, like without a problem? So his bar work is there. When I was hearing him rap next to Conway, I was actually thinking to myself, they were probably, he's one of the dudes that they were probably watching too when they were first stepping in. And he obviously has a relationship with a lot of the best spitters. That's because he's one of the best spitters too. And even the joint with Yayo, even though I thought it was underwhelming, but like Yayo's never been like, that was the thing even about G Unit. It's like, well, Yayo was the wild dude, Banks was like the spitter, 50 was the personality. And so
I liked Yayo, and I think
I
that
like,
now I
nah.
like Yayo in the sense that he was kind of like the personality of the group, and it was almost like, I mean, obviously 50 was kind of like everything all in one person, right? You know, he'll
Yeah.
give you a little bit of everybody, but it was like Tony Yayo shit was fun. He would say stuff that was funny, like, you know, Fat Joe ain't a gangster, he's scared to fly. You know, stuff like that. You know, and it's like even
Yeah.
the line of you must have mirrors on your pants because I see me in them and shit like that. Like, it's funny. I like Tony Yayo. He had a personality, but
He had
again,
a personality.
yeah.
We can say that. No, he brought
Um,
some personality to the group. He was a little Flavor Flavish to me.
Exactly, and I think groups are about balance, and I think
No,
that
okay.
you got vocal balance and you also have personality balance. You know, because if you got two Lloyd Bankses, they cancel each other out.
No. How about this? The Yayo that's on Running on the documentary, that nigga rapping. He was on Running.
My Desert Eagle on girl, just
Just
touched
jump
down,
down. Just
travel.
touch down. You're
Yeah.
right. All that.
What's this?
I signed my deal. I said, fuck jail. I went on tour to Barcelona and Brazil.
What he say? I love his verse on "I Run New York." He was like, "The locks made more money in them damn shoddy suits." He
They
said,
make no money
"The
in this
rap game
country. That
about
was part of the
sales,
problem.
drugs, and rapping." Jada, fuck your punchlines. My shirt went platinum. Here we go now. Okay, Amino says the Irk Monroe Serena controversy gives good context about female players and their skills. The women are excellent for women. Hate to be that guy.
What is it? Say that again?
Says the Mick Enroe Serena controversy gives a good context about female players and their skills. The women are excellent for women. Hate to be that guy. Shrug shoulders. Let's see. I think we got some other ones that we're missing. Ed says, or ED says, my issue with Banks is that he sounds repetitive and doesn't switch his flow and delivery. At times his voice gets drowned out and feels like one long record. I can understand that.
I can dig that. I can respect that. That's what I mean. So part of the problem with this album is really just the fact that, well, and this is what I mean. I like what he's doing. He's like, no, I actually have the songwriting capability, the punchlines. He has everything. And so I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this carefully.
Mm-hmm.
He is actually the exemplary. He's the example. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say exemplary. He's the example of why rap voices matter, because he actually checks most of the boxes that you want an all-time great MC to check. Does he have great delivery? Yes. Hooks? Yes. Song structure? Yes. Concepts? Yes. Songs? Yes. Like, he does all of these things well. It's his voice that kind of weighs him down on some songs, like The Murder One. Conceptually, I thought to myself, I'm like, if Nas delivers that same record with the same lyrics in Nas's voice, totally different effect on the record because of the concept and because of how the vocally it carries with the track. His voice actually hurts him so that you don't hear some of his best written stuff, like Murder One, Dead Roses. Like Dead Roses, lyrically and concept wise, no. This is elite stuff that he's doing. His guest verses in the songs like Menace with Conway, Living Proof with Vinny. No, this is superior stuff. His voice is weighing him down. He's
I
actually
see
doing
some
a
people
whole lot.
saying I see some people saying that his voice is boring, and I'm seeing some people also saying that this is the same thing that was the problem with his album last year. So
This album is more concise.
what are you rating this album? Because I think we're going to end up saying the same things over and over. Like, what
I
are
feel
you
like
rating
it's a
this album?
4. That's what I mean. It's another year of 4s. That's what I mean. Is it's like,
Okay.
no, it's a 4. And it's more of a fair 4 because it's like where that Conway or that Benny. What do you think of the Currency Continuance?
Ooh,
This
Continuance
is,
was one of those albums that we were super high on early. I
how is
think
it held? Like, do you think that's a 4 or above a 4?
I think it's above this. I'll go back and listen over the
Right.
weekend.
So I'm starting to feel like that Currency's continuance is going to be our basis for the difference between a 4 and a 4.25.
Exactly.
Because I'm feeling like the Currency continuance is a 4.25, and I'm starting to feel like it's slightly better than this, slightly better than the Benny, maybe slightly better than the Conway, maybe not better than the Benny.
I don't know.
Benny,
See, you know what?
Benny's holding well.
I'm higher on the Conway than I am the Benny, where you're higher on the Benny than you are the Conway.
The production's just better. The beats are just better. And you want to know what?
He got more standout moments. Benny does.
He does, because I will say this too, and this is what I mean about how Banks starting off this album. And you know how I feel about Conway. I don't love that he's starting off that album with the track featuring Siegel and then a track featuring Wayne and Ross, like before he gets into his shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Sequencing.
See, structure and sequencing matter. It's like, and this is what I'm saying. I say this to say, well, Tana Talk 4 starts off with Cole and starts off with Stove, and Johnny P's Caddy and back 2 times are better than the start off to God Don't Make Mistakes. And so when they both get off in their own shit, well, Benny's already up to me because he's made the superior records walking into them, going into their solo shit.
Yeah, the sequencer does matter, man. I remember reading that Big Boy wanted Y'all Scared to be the first song on the Kumina. And
that was wrong.
As we know, Return of the Gangsta started off with Kumina, which I feel like was perfect, but I don't even know what a Kumina would sound like to me if Y'all Scared came first. And honestly, and I've said this on the show before, I think Y'all Scared is probably one of my favorite songs on the album in 2022. I mean, it wasn't like that back in the day, but I don't know, man. That song for me just holds so well. And I don't know if it's because of what they're talking about, the mood, but was that the last time we really got Outkast and Goody Mob on the track together like that?
Probably. No.
I think it might have been.
No, Dungeon Family album.
That's different, though. But what song were you thinking? Like, because they're not on records together on there. You got CeeLo.
They're on Watch for the Hook together. That counts. Watch for the Hook
does count. But everybody's on there.
There's nothing wrong with. I mean,
no, but you know what I mean. Outkast and Goody Mob.
You're talking about Outkast and Goody specifically.
Yeah.
First of all, there's never been just a straight up and down Outkast Goody Mob record where there's those 2 guys and those 4 guys, because there's 6 of them together on one record.
That's the closest I think we've gotten. Because CeeLo's the only one missing on there. Yeah. Yeah, because Black Ice is just
like you're saying that, but that's a pretty big omission. Thought process is actually closer to me.
You think so? Big Boy's missing.
Right, but nothing against Big Boy, but what CeeLo and Dre did lyrically kind of made up for that.
No, you're right.
And Gip on there snapping. They made some
everybody on there.
They got some new wings on Fee Street. Left wing for the feds, right wing for the hard heads. Yeah.
Sometimes I don't even know how I'm going to eat. About $20 away from being on the street.
Might see a nigga on TV, but hell, it's almost like I'm rapping for free. That little money be gone. God damn it, I'm grown. Gotta help keep the heat and the lights on. It would be nice to have more, but I kind of like being po. At least I know what my friends here for. I want to lie to you sometimes, but I can't. I want to tell you that it's all good, but it ain't. Niggas hurting and uncertain about if they gonna make it or not. That's why we got niggas killing, feeling like they coming up off a little dope they sold. You can get some gold.
We gonna make it as a whole.
Because without you, there'd be no me. And without no unity, there would never be any happiness. You can smoke a pound of sex.
It still won't relieve your stress.
God bless.
People wonder why I had him at number 3 originally, man. Like,
no, lyrically, Mike. When I'm saying like bar for bar, remember when I was saying about the Method Man Ghostface thing?
Yeah.
Oh, it's like, bar for bar. Ain't nobody down here fucking with CeeLo.
It's real, man.
Not bar for bar.
Even his verse on Get Up, Get Out. He got the best verse on Get Up, Get Out.
I think that was Rhyme of the Month in the Source, Mike. That was the first time I saw a Southern nigga get Rhyme of the Month in the Source, actually.
Right. Jay Short with the super chat says, the mixing always sounds off for Banks stuff. Maybe it's his voice. Mad Max with the super chat says, Banks is great. He's a great number 2. He's Katie or Pippen or Kareem with Magic.
That was very, very shady. let's back up right quick.
Who is Banks in the let's just say in a dynamic duo?
He's not KD or Kareem. All right, he's not that level. All right,
No.
he's not that level. He's not Scotty either, actually. And that's what I mean about how it's hard to classify him sometimes because of his voice. And I mean because it's like when you listen to this album, it's like because I get what people are saying because by track 14, because he's a real solo MC in terms of his bar work. He doesn't need guest appearances to fill his gaps because he is strong enough with his material,
Yeah.
but his voice kind of wears on people a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's almost like he can't win for losing because if he would have had more features than what he had, it'd be like, oh, well, this ain't really his album. It's feature heavy. Oh, no, it's his album. It's like, oh, well, his voice kind of drags and he's boring. And it's not that he's boring. It's that his voice sounds boring. Kind of like Boldy.
Yeah. No, you're right. I think that's a perfect comparison. Born King says, what y'all think about HDIGH by East?
I've been heard that. We talked about that. It's dope. He's got some stuff on there.
You ready to get onto this list, or some other things you want to say about this Banks album?
You know, he does have...
James Worthy's a good one. That's a good one, guys.
There we go.
I could see that.
I like that. He's more James Worthy.
I was thinking more Joe Dumars, whatever.
Joe Dumars-ish, yeah. Like that work. He's that work. He's that guy. He's a borderline all-star with that worker's mentality that shows up every day to play. So like, yeah, I don't know if he's not Scotty. Scotty got a 40-point triple-double in the playoffs once against the best team in the league that year. You feel what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know if Banks is doing shit like that next to 50 in 50's prime, but he is maybe James Worthy. James' game was like, very mid-range, very unassuming, but he showed out one time and won a finals MVP. He was the man on the team that Michael Jordan played on in college. You know what I'm saying? Like,
man, somebody said Rock Marciano's voice is boring. I think Rock Marciano's
you need to stop that.
I
Lean
think
on
his
the
voice
like
is
muscular
incredible.
dystrophy. Some of the hardest shit I ever heard.
I was just listening to Emeralds today, man. That nigga went crazy on there, man.
Method Man said Rock Marciano need to be lifted up higher. Say less.
Well, I mean, great
that's
MC
your
is
guy,
no great
Mike.
MC.
No, that's your guy. No, you want to know what? And you've been bigging up Rock Marciano before, according to Hip Hop. Even like you and me even went live and we were having these debates and stuff, and we were debating on Facebook. You've always held Rock up very, very high, and it looks like he's getting like the love and the flowers like from the legends that you always felt like he deserved. He is.
Yeah, Rock Marciano's the truth, man. You know what? Before we get to this list, there was something that I had in notes here. Did you see the Drillmatic got a release date?
Oh, finally?
Yep. Hit Boy posted this actually. It says August 12th, 2022. Drillmatic, Heart vs. Mind, The Game, co-executive producers Hit Boy and Kanye West.
Last time Kanye West co-executive produced something, it was Pusha T's album. So,
see, this is the thing, man. I mean, I got to question like Kanye's current involvement in whatever. And like you said, when he co-executive produced something, we don't know how involved Kanye is. The last time he was really all in that I can think of was Daytona. And I know y'all think I talk about Daytona like it's Thriller. And I don't understand what people's problem is with Daytona, but Daytona's awesome. From end to end.
Daytona's great.
Born King with the super chat says, I haven't if haven't please listen to CeeLo live with live with Hall and Oates. He bodied their classics. I remember that. It was I think it was just with Hall because Hall had his own show. That was pretty dope when he was performing I Can't Go For That. David Hall was having everybody come in there and perform that song with him on his show. It was pretty dope. It should be on YouTube. But yeah, so we might be getting Drillmatic on the 12th. It might get pushed back.
Isn't that when Black Thought dropping?
Is that when Black Thought's dropping? Man.
Yeah.
That'd be a great Friday.
Isn't that when Cheat Codes is dropping? What's the release date on Cheat Codes?
Yeah, go look up the release date for Cheat Codes. Let's get to this list, though.
Yeah, you go and get credit.
So, top 25 Southern MCs all time. We spoke about it on Wednesday. I pulled up like this old list that I wrote out with the top 50 Southern MCs all time. And I went back and looked at my list from 4 years ago. And I was like, yo, man, my shit is all the way off. So,
Mike.
I attempted to go rework it. Go ahead.
Yeah, Black Thought's dropping on August 12th.
Okay. August 12th should be lit then.
So we got Game and Thought on August 12th.
Yep.
It's album of the year. That should be an album of the year conversation type of show.
It should be.
It better be.
Because I predict that that Black Thought is going to be real heavy based on what I'm hearing so far.
I think that we're about to see Black Thought's best solo effort.
Mm-hmm.
And so the Game need to come with it.
Because I believe in the production on this one.
That's what I'm saying when I'm saying Game need to come with it, because I don't care what Game feel about how he feel about himself lyrically, West Coast wise, and where he need to be ranked. Well, he not Black Thought on the mic, because guess who's Black Thought on the mic? Nobody's Black Thought on the mic.
And I think that Danger Mouse,
not Black Thought on the mic.
I like where Danger Mouse is going production wise.
It's the whole problem. He giving him that raw shit.
That's is.
Yeah.
I'm going to go listen to some of that shit after the show is over. DeCarlo with the super chat says,
I'm playing No Gold Teeth like every day hard. I play some No Gold Teeth.
That's the song of the year candidate. DeCarlo says, I will forever put Victory Lap over Daytona. No cap.
Those were, I always told people this, those were my 1 and 2 that year, but I always told you if you wanted to put Victory Lap over Daytona about the length and the quality, I was okay with that. Cool with that. I
was okay with that.
I played Victory Lap the other day. I love Victory Lap.
I'm going to use your term. The bar work on Daytona, I mean from the beginning where he's sitting here, ran off on the plug too, like True Goy. What?
Yeah.
You can never do what I do, boy. Still ducking shit that I did, boy. Niggas in Paris with Hit, boy. These ain't the same type of hits, boy. Shit can get litter than lit, boy. Yo. And those ain't even some of the best bars on the album.
Papa Willie, tell the judge to Akinelli. Middle fingers after the ghost screaming Machiavelli.
Or we could go the bust down or lower levels where you settle at. I'm the pot calling the kettle black. Where there's no brick pedals at. Between God and where the devil's at. Had to double dutch and double back. And backtrack to where the trouble's at. Exactly where the game's been missing. Come on, man. And then that second verse on the games we play.
I was actually thinking about how Hard Piano starts up. Never fall in love with the bitch who loves a camera. She will turn around and fuck you and fuck the janitor. Set the parameters.
You either with the pro ballers or the
amateurs. I was like, oh shit. I was like,
okay. Yeah, come on.
It's like, oh,
good morning, Matt Lauer. Can I live?
That's how we're starting off. It's like, oh shit.
Yo. Second verse on the games we play. Like, there's quotables all over that shit.
Yeah.
And we ain't even talking about Infrared. Or like you said, what will Meek do? Because that's one of Kanye's best verses possibly ever.
His life. It's one of the best verses of Kanye's life.
I won't feel right till I feel like Phil Knight. Going for 6 rings like when Phil told Mike. Come on, man. Like, what do we do?
7 pill nights. You know what that feel like? No more hiding my scars. I show him like Seal, right?
Can I interest you in Santeria? Shit.
What I'm saying. Like,
y'all act like I'm overreacting on this album,
people be like, no, y'all be tripping about Daytona. It's like, no, nigga,
you got the evidence.
You're not paying attention, nigga. Yeah, like
we got the evidence.
It's up well. It doesn't sound old.
Nah, it's one of those albums that's always gonna sound like, yo, play this again.
How about this? It's one of the very few rap classics where it's like, what year did they make this album?
Right.
What year did they make this rap album?
Salute the Ross because the message is pure. He see what I see when you see Wayne on tour. Flash without the fire. Another multi-platinum rapper trapped and can't retire. Niggas get exposed. I see the cracks and I'm the liar. Shit, I've been exposed. I took the crack and built the wire. Now who do you admire? Are y'all tripping?
No, he went further. Your rap songs is all trying my patience. The numbers ain't real without inflation.
I done flew it, I done grew it, been a conduit. Man, come on, man. We can't front on that record, man.
No, there's no
and then we're
fronting
not
on that.
even
Like,
talking about the production. The production was A1.
If you know is part of our hashtag in popular culture lexicon. It's a dope boy anthem. When does a dope boy anthem ever become part of pop culture lexicon? Because Dead Presidents isn't that. Feeling It isn't that. Grinding isn't that. None of that G rapper Ice-T shit is that.
These are the games we play. These are the names they say.
I love how he went to the politics as usual shit, because that's my favorite part of politics as usual.
Ain't no stopping the champagne from popping, the draws from dropping, the laws from watching. When gay back chopping, the cars and the women come with options. Come on, man.
But that's head shit.
Yeah.
You're ahead if you know the end of politics as usual. So it's like he's speaking to a certain class of nigga right there, like in the streets and in rap when he does that. How can you not love that? It's high level bar work.
Yeah, it is. Mad Max says, my son Chef G just dropped a decent project too. So much
Shoot it to us.
There.
No. Damn all that. Mike's busy. Shoot it to me. Shoot it to me. Fuck all that.
No,
shoot it to me. No, Mike, you busy. Like, y'all don't be understanding. Y'all be shooting Mike stuff. Mike don't have time for this shit. I've assumed the new title of the creative content director of media, according to hip hop. Start sending me the shit. Leave Mike the fuck alone.
Yo, so Coop is a better listener to me too, because my attention span is like this these days, man. Like
that's what I'm saying though. That's about how life is set up, because of how according to hip hop is set up right now. Like, just give me your shit. But we got stuff coming. We got writers coming. We got talent coming.
Yeah, the growth is there, man.
I talked to Denim today. We need to talk. Like, I talked to Denim today. Yeah.
Shit, let's get it popping. We got a lot in store for you guys, for real. But let's get to this list, man.
Yeah.
So the top 25 Southern MCs all time. This is what I want to preface my list with, right? I think that when I start thinking about a Southern list, and I always hated when they used to break us off into a Southern section and all that. But when you start really digging into these lists and digging into the artists, you start to realize that this region is more about making songs and projects. And it's a lot of people with a wealth of catalog. And so you might not see the most skilled MC at a higher position, but these people have either perspective, catalog, or material that you just can't front on. Like, obviously, Sci-Hi, his bar work is crazy. We just seen him on the LA Leakers and all that. But does he have a high like Juvenile? Does he have the Man Right Chill like Mystical? Or, you know what I'm saying? And I think we kind of run into that a lot in the South. There are some people who do have, I guess what you would say, superior bar work. But a lot of Southern MCs, they really specialize in making the songs. And I think our Tupac discussion kind of put me in a different mindset too, where it's like, okay, well, being a great MC is not always about being lyrical miracle all the time. Like, what's your songs look like? How are you hitting people? How is your shit connecting? How is your shit touching? You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I was putting my, list together when it came to that top 25. Mad Max said Daytona is a 25-minute time run. That's not an album, that's an EP. Sounds like a mixtape classic, though. But Victory Lap got no skips, and it's got 18 tracks. I used to say the same thing when it concerns Aquemini and Illmatic. So I get where you're coming from.
And Victory Lap has a couple skips on it, but that's neither here nor there.
Okay.